Hello. How is everyone on today? I wanted to bring you a story, just bring some awareness to what's going on actually uh, in Texas. I'm not exactly sure if it's happening other places, but I found a couple of other articles that you can actually Google. But this is one particular family or particular situation that stood out with me, and I read this article some time ago, but now they are actually doing an update on it. So I'm going to bring you the actual article on what transpired with this family uh, out of Texas. And I just want to warn people because it's very important that we read the fine print on these contracts when we are even purchasing homes. And when you purchase a home, if you've ever purchased a home, or you're in the process, or you are wanting to in the future purchase a home, it's very important that you read all of the fine print. And if you have to have an attorney look at the contract before signing any contract or putting any money down, it's okay to do that, to have your attorneys or an attorney, reputable attorney that understands real estate, that specializes in it, to look at the contract and to read the contract and make sure you have a clear understanding of the contract. And also that you get a chance to answer questions where you are not made to feel uncomfortable, pressured, or rushed. Because a lot of times when you're in the process of buying a home or having a home built from the ground up, a lot of times sometimes these salespeople will pressure you and make you feel rushed into making a decision that may not be the best decision for you and your family. And sometimes they can even tell you, well, these houses are going fast and that's the only one with the big lot and that's going to go quick. They tell you things like that, and it gets you, kind of uh, in an emotional state where you're saying, well, we need to make a decision right now. Let's go ahead and sign. And you may ask a few questions, but not enough questions, or you may not read the contract thoroughly, or you may read it and think that some of the fine print will not ever apply to you. And so, with that being said, like I said, there's other articles out here that this has been happening to, and mainly in Texas, and nothing against Texas, so please don't come for me for that. But those articles that I did find were mainly out of Texas. So this is one particular family. It is a black family, but it doesn't matter which family, the race. But still, like I said, I came across this some time ago. I read the article, and I've read it more than once. And I even looked up some things. And then, there was also this also was on Fox Channel 4 or Fox 4 News, KDFW. And so Dallas Fort Worth. And so I wanted to, really bring this because it can happen to anyone if you are not familiar. With the fine print of some of these contractors, they're able to cancel contracts without warning. A lot of this, it's called a convenience cancellation. Basically, they can cancel the contract out of convenience, and where you are stuck homeless or not having a place to go, or maybe having to scramble to find a place to go. And this particular family, that happened to them, and also they had put money down, and also they had already were told they had to sell their home that they were living in order to, that was contingent upon getting this home. So they did that as well. So it says a North Texas family loses home after builder backs out without warning. So again, please make sure to read the fine print in any contract. It is a good idea to consult an attorney to go over the contract and find details before you sign on the dotted line and before handing over your money to any contractor. So the North Texas family loses home after builder backs out without warning. And now the disclaimer, there was a fine print actually in the contract that said that they could cancel the contract for convenience, canceled for convenience. And so they lost a home. What happened is the contractor, and you need to understand this, is that the price of the house went up. The contractor said that the building costs were more expensive. They were higher than when they first started to build the home, and when the couple signed the contract, put their money down on this home. The builder went back later and canceled the contract and raised the price of the house $300,000. Um, after they had already signed the contract. So obviously, or there was no lock-in as far as, I guess the price of the home, or maybe the finance rates, but the price of the home, what it sounds like, was not locked in. And even if it was locked in, because to me, if you sign in a contract, then how is that possible? But again, in the contract, it was canceled for convenience. And it was because mainly the contractor said that the building supplies went up and he could make more money off of this house by raising the price. And they did do that. And I believe the house did sell after all. So let me get into this. A North Texas family says they have a warning for anyone who's buying a home from a builder. Now, I agree with that. There is the warning. And so I'm putting this out here. Just days before closing on their forever home, their builder backed out. Turns out the builder's contract they were required to sign left them with virtually no protection. Tracey and Donnell Brundage were days away from moving into their forever home in Oakleaf, Texas. They had movers booked and even bought a fridge for the kitchen. But 6 days before closing, after the couple spent 16 months on the build, managed months of supply chain delays, and spent thousands in escrow and upgrade money, a text message changed everything. It says, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Glacier Homes, Kindred Homes, has decided to terminate the sales contract with you dated December 15th, 2020, the text said. The builder was backing out. A clause in the contract allowed them to cancel for convenience and put the house on the market. The new price was $300,000 more than the Brundages contracted to buy it for. Tracey, Donnell, and their 1- and 4-year-old sons were about to be homeless. I'm still in disbelief even to this day, Donnell said. The couple is suing Horton Capital Properties, the parent company for Glacier and Kindred Homes. The lawsuit alleges the builder coerced the Brundages to sell their home under the threat that the building project would not continue and in reliance that Glacier would deliver the final building project. It was contingent based on us selling our previous home, Donnell said. In the seller's contract, Tracey and Donnell agreed to sell their current home before the builder would sheetrock their new house. If they didn't have their house sold before the new build was done, there was an option to pay $2,000 a month in carrying costs to the builder to buy more time. But in an email from the builder in September 2021, the couple was reminded you need to go ahead and start working on getting your house sold because that pay for grace period was now gone, it reads. Upper management will not be granting contingency extensions. Our previous home went under contract in less than a week, so that was not the issue at all, Donnell said. Their buyer gave the Brundage family a lease back so they could stay in their house past the date the builder said their new home would be done. Then that day came. January of 2022. The house is not even close to being done, Donnell said, so we moved into an Airbnb. It was inconvenient for the couple and their kids, but they thought it would soon be all worth it when their forever home was done. Donnell had a pool company design their new yard. They actually came out and surveyed the land. He said made us a whole mock-up of what they were going to do. Then closing day came on April 15th. It was supposed to be the home stretch. Kindred Homes told the couple they needed to move the closing due to a delay. There was a delay on carpet which caused them to reschedule closing a week later to April 22nd, Donnell said. It was another hassle for the Young family, but after 16 months of moving, building, and delays, they saw it as just a final speed bump. Then that text message 6 days before the new closing date that the builder was canceling the sale. The escrow and upgrade money they had held for more than a year would be refunded. No reason, no nothing at all, Donnell said. Like, can you do this? Fox 4 asked attorney Jason Friedman, who was not associated with this case, to review the Horton Capital Property sales contract. This is basically an agreement to hold you hostage, he said. If you're signing a contract like this, yes, you could be homeless. Unlike a Texas Real Estate Commission promulgated sales contract which offers protection for both buyer and seller, Freeman says the builder contract which Horton Capital required the Brundages to sign left them vulnerable. It is important to note the contract clearly reminds buyers they can seek independent legal advice before signing. Tracey and Donnell did not. Housing news. Fox 4 asked Horton to walk us through the terms. They denied our interview request, saying it would be inappropriate. Instead, Horton pointed to the more than 160 homes they currently have under contract. They add, while cancellations are not what the company intends, their contract clearly addresses this possibility, which can be part of doing business. In this contract, I would say there is no protection for the buyer, Friedman said. Section 10. Termination of the contract says, seller maintains the right to terminate this contract for convenience and without regard to fault or breach, meaning with no notice and for no reason at all, the seller can walk away, and Horton did. It's basically a get-out-of-jail-free card, Friedman said. The contract limits damages paid to the buyer to $500. Try and sue. Not so fast. You've waived your right to a jury trial. Hold up the house with the claim against the title? Nope, you're not allowed. Do it anyway. Sorry, you've agreed in advance to allow the builder to remove it. It's all right here. Some of it's in bold letters, Friedman said. You know, every angle you're going to come at you from, and they cut it off here. So what's the solution? You could try and negotiate the terms of a builder contract before you sign. You could opt not to buy, or like the Brundages, you could find yourself counsel for convenience. So why sue if the contract anticipates and blocks your remedies? A judge could look at the language and decide, while legal, that the terms are so one-sided that they should be not enforced. A reminder to anyone entering into any kind of contract, it should be reviewed by an attorney. Now, of course, Kindred is going to give their statement, which I'm going to read that to you. But before I get to that, I want to say this. Excuse me. An attorney, even though that contract they signed was legal, not an attorney, I'm sorry. An attorney can take your case, okay? But what I was going to say prior to that was a judge can look at this contract and see that it's so one-sided and that it's so unfair to the people that signed it, and that the scales are so tilted against the buyers in a case like this, where they practically were almost made homeless and they had 2 small children. But the judge can look at this contract and see that this is not an appropriate contract, and they could rule in favor of the plaintiffs, which is the couple that's suing, and they should sue. This Kindred Homes, Glacier and Kindred Homes, they actually are some predators that I believe, in my opinion, that they are predators. I understand that the Brundages did sign the contract, and they're not the only ones that have been put in a situation like this. There's other articles out here of stories that this has happened to. And I realize, again, they signed the contract. But also, just looking at that contract and not knowing what the fine print really means, and that the Glacier and Kindred Homes thinks that they're covering everything by scaring you into not filing a lawsuit. But they need to be sued. They need to be sued so that they can stop drawing up these predator contracts where there are people in good faith that qualify for homes, put their money down in good faith, and wait for their home to be built from the ground up, and then to be told they're canceling out of convenience. And what's happening is the contractor has created this predatory contract to protect them, but they don't give a rat's behind about the actual buyer or buyers, of these properties. So I would suggest that nobody buys from them. Don't buy from them. And anytime they want to raise property after you've already signed a contract, $300,000 or $200,000 or $100,000 after you've entered a contract, that's some really messed up, bogus stuff. And so hopefully they will win their case. And so I'm not taking away the accountability, that their accountability for signing the contract. But again, in a court of law, the judge can say that contract is just too one-sided, and that no one can really win in this case. And it's not right that you're putting families at risk or people at risk, especially when you pressured them to sell their home that they were in. And so please, please, please be careful when you're signing going over paperwork to buy homes, or any contract for that matter, any contract. But homes is a big thing. Please be careful. If you have to have an attorney to look over it, like I said before, have them to look over it. Don't sign anything that you have reservations about. And the thing is that the couple didn't seem to have any reservations, because they figured that wasn't going to happen to them, that they were not going to, their home, the contract wasn't going to be canceled because of convenience. And so with that being said, just please, 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 like I said, read your contracts. Read the contract before you sign it. But let me get into what Kindred Holmes said, because they always coming out with these little, not just necessarily them, but companies, when they harm someone or allegedly harm them, they come out with their statements, and stuff like that. But I'm going to just read what they said, but then hopefully you'll leave your honest opinion and your comments below, and on what you think about something like this. Okay, so the residential real estate market is seeing unprecedented constraints, from material shortages to rapidly rising costs. Like other residential home builders, Kindred Homes has been impacted by these market conditions. With these market conditions, coupled with the surge in demand in the DFW real estate market, which is Dallas-Fort Worth, and rising interest rates, buyers feel more stressed than ever with building or purchasing a new home. It would not be appropriate to comment directly on any specific buyer's transaction. As of the time of this statement, Kindred Homes has over 160 homes under contract across 22 neighborhoods in Texas. On occasion, factors arise that bring about a decision to cancel a contract. Kindred Homes contracts clearly address this possibility. Cancellations are not what the company intends, but can be a part of doing business in residential real estate. It is important to Kindred Homes that our buyers be completely satisfied with the quality construction in our homes. Kindred Homes is focused on building homes and assisting buyers in building a future with their families and their homes. Carol Horton, CMO. Now, let me say this: if they were so focused on assisting buyers in building a future with their families in their homes, then they would not be having a contract that's so one-sided and predatory. These are people that are preying on families, and they are wanting to make money and get rich off of people with the predatory contract that they have drawn up. And I hope that this couple wins their lawsuit, and that the judge they are found in violation of a predatory contract, and that they are made to change that and to offer more protection to anyone that's purchasing a home. I understand that building supplies are up, and right now we understand everything is up. Groceries, gas, everything, the interest rates, building supplies. When you go places now, everything is more expensive, including your famous restaurant or fast food restaurant that you love so much. Every single thing is up. Even in the discount stores, their prices have even went up, where you're not getting bigger discounts as you used to. So it's good to take advantage of any discounts that you can. And if you're prepared to purchase a home that doesn't have a predatory contract. Purchase a home that you understand that the fine print is very clear to you, and that you understand what the fine print is. You've had an attorney or someone to look over it that specializes in real estate contracts, because this is not right. Kindred Homes does not deserve to be in business if they're going to write contracts that are so one-sided, to where you can tell that all they're about is money. They don't care about putting families on the street. They don't care about families that could be facing homelessness with children when they do things like this. And in this case, I was truly disappointed to read this with Kindred Homes. I've never purchased anything with Glacier or Kindred Homes. And I probably never would if I had an opportunity to do so because of this. And there's other families out there that I may look up and bring you those articles as well, to let you know it's not just this only family. I'm not biased. I don't care what race the family is. I did tell you that the family was black, but I don't care what family, the race the family is. Wrong is wrong, right is right, and no one should have these predatory contracts out here like that. And sometimes families, like I said, they get nervous, they get vulnerable, they get pressured into things. you know, like in this case, and then under pressure to sell their home they were living in because they believed in Glacier Kindred Homes. And so I hope that they win their lawsuit. I hope that they are compensated, and I hope that they are the Kindred Homes Glacier Company. Her name is Carol Horton, who is the CMO. I hope that they are required to change their contracts instead of having these predatory contracts. So you guys, let me know what you think about this. Don't forget to leave your respectful comments below. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like the video, give it a thumbs up, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. And I want to put a disclaimer out there as well, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Don't forget to subscribe to my Instagram channel, to follow me on Instagram at StandupBcounted. Also, check out my OitsSharine Jewelry. If you're interested in something, let me know. I also make other jewelry, and as well that I do upload that's not on there right now. And also, if you want to support the channel, you're more than welcome to do so. But thank you all. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you all for my new subscribers, and I will be talking with you soon. God bless you all.